Well, hi, guys and gals, and welcome to Life in Huatulco. And today we are going to have an amazing guest. And I want you, if you don't already know him, I want you to start watching him on a regular basis. He has a YouTube channel in La Paz area, and his name is Brighton. What a pretty name, Brighton West. And his channel is called Almost Retire in Mexico. I think I probably started watching him 2 years ago. Hi, Brighton.
Hello. Thank you
And
for having me.
yes, I'm so excited. You're like a celebrity to me and a coach. And I would like Brighton to tell me, first of all, exactly what town he lives in.
Yeah, so I am living in El Centenario. So it's a town just outside La Paz. It's maybe 20 minutes from the Malecón in La Paz, which is the downtown. It's a little dusty town it's probably, I don't know, 85% Mexican and about 15% expats.
So you can have friends who speak English.
Yes, so we do. There are a lot of people here who speak English. La Paz is different. It's closest, it's on the Baja Peninsula, and kind of the closest big town would be Los Cabos. And that's about 2 hours away. And that is like everyone there speaks English. You go there, you don't even need pesos. Everyone accepts dollars. It's like you're in like a little piece of the United States down in Mexico. Here in La Paz, it's the state capital. It's much more Mexico. It feels so much more like Mexico. But there are a good amount of gringos here. What I like is La Paz is a vacation destination from Mexico City. So people from Mexico City come over to La Paz. This is we're their vacation destination. So there's a lot of tourist infrastructure, but it's not tourist infrastructure for gringos. It's, you go down the Malecón at night, and it's all the local families and the tourists from Mexico City. And there's a few gringos kind of spread amongst these folks. Most of the restaurants in like the Malecón, they speak English. They take credit cards. If you come out here to El Centenario, probably not going to speak English, probably not going to take a credit card. A little more of the kind of the real Mexico out here.
I understand that a lot of people like to go to Baja because they can have their own car and bring more of their possessions with them in the car when they make that move or that seasonal move.
It is easy to live in the Baja Peninsula. We live in Portland, Oregon, half the year, and then half the year down here in the Baja Peninsula. And it's just kind of a straight shot down. You just, take the freeway down to the border, and then in San Diego or Mexicali, you just cross over. The roads get a lot more narrow, a lot less improved, but you can just shoot a straight shot down. 2 days maybe in Mexico if you're in a car, 3 in an RV. Not only is it easy just in terms of geographically, it also is easy in terms of how the Mexican government has set up life in this free zone. But the rules, you can just bring down your American car and no questions asked. Whereas if you bring down your American car into the rest of Mexico and you're a resident, it has to be between a certain year and this year and that year, and it's complicated. You have to get a tip. I don't even know what that stands for, but there's a lot more rules in mainland Mexico than there is out here. And we kind of call it the frontier out here. So, and also just 2 hours away is the Cabo airport. There's an airport here in La Paz, not a lot of flights to the States, but down in Cabo, there's, I don't know, something like 12 or 14 flights to LAX every day. So it's easy to get to and from the United States if you are here in the Baja Peninsula.
So I would suggest this as a stepping stone for people if they're not really sure they can make it. They're going to have the coast. They can bring their special ninja blender or whatever they don't want to let go of, and they can give it a try before they make that big move. Don't you think? And how is the economy there as far as, is your budget the same there as it was in Oregon?
As for our budget, I feel like things cost about 50% less in La Paz, maybe 40% less. So that's kind of everything across the board, except for electronics and furniture. Electronics, I think, is an expensive thing across Mexico, and furniture is expensive here because everything has to be shipped here. It's almost like we're on an island. Everything else is, yeah, pretty much count on needing about half the amount of dollars that you would. And then, of course, that's just, we go out to eat all the time down here now because it's like, well, we can go to a really nice restaurant. We went out to a nice restaurant with two friends. One of the nicest restaurants in La Paz. The bill was $150 for, 4 amazing meals with appetizers and multiple drinks for everyone. $150 is still a lot of money, but when you break that down to what going to an amazing restaurant in Portland, Oregon, and getting multiple drinks and multiple courses, dessert was amazing. It's just, that would have been a really expensive meal, easily $300 to $400 for 4 people.
So there you go. If you still want to keep your same style of life, or maybe improve your style of life, that's the
much
place.
Improved. Like I couldn't spend that kind of money up in Oregon, but down here it's just like, well, you might as well go to a really nice place to eat because it's cheaper than eating in a cheap place back home.
And yes. And you know what I want to ask you about, because it's intriguing. It's intriguing, the name of your channel. I love it. And I know it's not really how I think it is because we've chatted about this, but Almost Retired Mexico tells me that you're still working.
Yeah, when I was first playing with this name of like, what am I going to call my channel? I was like, okay, Almost Retired. And it kind of works 2 ways. So the idea is that it's for people who are getting close to like typical retirement age, 65, and they're like, oh, I'm almost retired. I need to start thinking about the future and moving to Mexico. Or I'm just like, I'm almost retired. I'm in my 50s and, I can excel. I might have to work till 65 to retire in the US and pay US prices, but I can accelerate that retirement by moving to Mexico. So it's kind of like retire early by moving to Mexico. Or the opposite part is like, hey, you can move to Mexico, have an online job. So many of us can work online especially since COVID, and, kind of just lower the amount of work that you're doing so that you're almost retired and you're living in Mexico. So it's kind of, I think for me, what the channel is about is helping people who think they're kind of stuck in the US, that they have to keep working, that they don't see the possibilities that open up when you move to a country that's right next door, where the people are nicer, in my opinion, where the weather is nicer, all these great things, and save money at the same time. I think there's a lot of people in the US who are really struggling around retirement. They don't have a good plan and income. And it's like, well, here in La Paz, you could probably, if you wanted to live like a local, you could buy a house for $30,000 US.
Wow.
Typically, if you want to be more living like an American, you're talking $150,000 to $200,000. But there's options in between too. Like you can buy new houses here that are $90,000. They're more made for the Mexican market. They're smaller and whatnot, but they're still really nice. So there's so many opportunities for people if they look to Mexico when they're in that almost retired phase of life.
Yes. And so does your channel go into some things like that for the people to get ideas on how perhaps they could work online?
I haven't talked a lot. I started recording a video. I've got so many videos partially recorded, but talking about how my wife and I work down here. This is my office and I do everything from here and just kind of telling people what I do. I've got a number of things going on. One is this YouTube channel, which is generating a little bit of revenue, but not a whole bunch. My YouTube channel, that'll I'm sure be linked, the Almost Retired in Mexico channel. I think how Cindy found me was through another channel about helping coaches or people start YouTube channels. So that is another, that's my business. And I work with, a number of people managing their YouTube channels or helping them with videos just like this, creating videos for them online. So it's a completely location independent business. And then I've got some other stuff going on with like Amazon sales and things like that. So I got a whole bunch of little things going on to kind of support me. And I'm going to be talking more about that. I do also, I'm starting to interview more people like you. So we're doing this as a collab. There'll be 2 videos, one on your channel, one on mine, telling the stories of different people and how they've managed to make it to Mexico. So a lot of them so far have just retired early. It's just, I met a woman recently. I just released the video today. She's 49 years old. She didn't want to put that in the video, and she's retired. She's Canadian. And she said, you know what? I sold my condo up in Mexico, or up in Calgary for $600,000 and bought a condo in San Jose del Cabo for $130,000 and cut her monthly fees and all that. And she's like, you know, I did the math. I could afford to retire at 49 in Mexico, and like all her friends are coming to visit. So I've been working on telling those stories of people who are doing it. But like I said, mostly right now, so far, the stories that I've told have been people who just retired early, not necessarily the ones who are still working here. There's a bunch of those too, but I need to work on those.
Yeah. There's coaching, lots of coaching going on, right?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, that's something that can be done from anywhere in the world. And actually one of them, I do have a video about someone. She's a coach and she does vocal, and she's a singer, and she actually goes back up to the States for like 2 months during the worst weather down in Cabo. And she does a bunch of work up there while she's there for 2 months, and then comes back down and just does coaching, life coaching. And so that's just a little bit of income. Then she gets a bunch of income up in the States, and then she comes back down and almost retires.
Lots of teaching going on.
Oh yeah. Teaching. Yeah. There's so much that can be done on
so much you can do.
My wife is a consultant. So
there you go. Consulting. And there's consultants for everything.
Yes, exactly.
And it's a new mentality because of COVID. It's a new mentality, and nobody has to break any new thought life and mindsets on that. People are now aware that I can do that online.
Yep. Yeah. Everyone. I mean, so many jobs, not every job, but so many jobs can be done online. And you're right. COVID made us realize that.
Yeah. Well, what are your challenges living in Mexico? Have you found any challenges besides patience?
Besides patience, damn it, I wanted that one. And I think actually I'm going to go with the theme of the challenge of being patient. And it is a big thing. I was late to this interview because I was stuck at the bank for an hour doing something relatively simple. But it is such a good thing to be pushed into patience. As long as you can get pushed into it, it's like, oh, I don't have much of a choice. The bank is going to take a long time, and all these processes in Mexico are going to take a long time. And mañana doesn't mean tomorrow. It means not today. It might mean sometime in the future. But you're forced to become a patient person. And I think that takes us back to like becoming healthy because of living in Mexico. I think it's a really good thing to learn the skill of patience. So that wasn't quite an answer for your question, but it's a way to turn a challenge into something that's really good for probably everyone.
And nobody cares if you're late. Nobody cares here. See, the thing is that we as Americans think, what are they going to think of me? Oh my gosh, now they're not going to want my service. They all understand and get it. It's no big deal if you're late. Just let them know.
Yep, exactly. And that's what I did. I emailed you, and I was a little bit stressed. I was waiting there, and I'm watching the guy slowly go through the process of, here's my Bad Norte, getting this paperwork done. I'm like, I see it. I know it's on his desk. He's getting there. And my major concern was getting to this meeting on time. And I just sent you a message saying okay, I think I'm going to be late. And you're like, that's okay. And I was like, that is okay.
It is.
Thank you for being the lifestyle and the thought processes down here are just, I don't know, they're just very positive, and people are very accepting. And yeah, it is a good thing.
It's like from 30 to 40 years ago in the United States.
Exactly. Yeah, it is just so much more laid back. And one of the things I think of is when I go down to the Malecon, Sunday nights is Sunday is family day in Mexico. And Sunday nights, in La Paz, everyone takes their entire family down to the Malecón, and the kids are playing there in their scooters, and it's so family oriented. And of course, there are some kids on their smartphones and things like that, but it does harken back to a sweeter time in the United States where it's like people are just out and about enjoying themselves. And yeah, I feel like we're missing that in the States now.
Yeah. Well, the rat race of keeping up with the Joneses and the Bills.
Yep, exactly.
I don't miss it a bit.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it is. I wish that I could be here all year long, but I'm married, so we do have to go back up north because Portland is gorgeous in the summer. It's hard. It'd be hard to give it up, but yeah. So we've got a good balance here going.
Yes, seasonal living in Mexico. Just if you can afford to have, if you bought your place, you're great. If you're renting it, just rent it low enough that you don't mind paying 6 months of rent when you're not there and you got it made. But if you want to be coming back and forth and every year trying to find a rental, that there's your stress right there. But if you can rent a place low enough that you can be happy with it. We rehabbed our little house. It's 4,000 pesos a month, and we rehabbed it totally.
Yeah.
And so we're happy, we don't mind paying $200 a month, whether we're here or not,
Right. And that's, I think, something people don't think of. They think of like, oh, I'm going to be there for 6 or 7 months. I need to find a 6 or 7 month lease. And it's like, well, no, find a year lease. And that way also you can just leave your stuff and kind of, and I came back, I think 4 times last summer. I flew down because I was like, I just want to go. It's like, I got a house in Mexico. Like, why would I go anywhere else? I'm just going to hop on the plane and go down. So it's great, even when I'm not officially here.
We've given you great options, lots of food for thought. And I really am totally honored to have had Brighton West with me. And so we want to thank you very much for giving experience, strength, and hope, and just encouragement to those who are tired of it all up north.
Yes. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for having me.
Bye for now.
Bye.
That's it. Be sure to subscribe to learn about life in Huatulco and to learn about retiring in Mexico also, because we do share 25 years experience with you. Do you need a virtual mailbox so you can take care of business and personal communication on a daily basis? Are you interested in Expat or Nomad insurance that's highly affordable? Click our links below. We'll be back soon.
Retired in Mexico!